young people today as the climate change generation. Are there mental health impacts to living with these changes that you can describe?
Yes, because indigenous communities, when I say we subsist from the land, it's not just about food security. It's about our culture, our spirituality, our economy. Everything we are as a people is tied to the land. And so any disruptions affect us. And the very social fabric of our communities, it affects the social fabric. And so it also affects the health of the people. And when a community is stressed, you see devastating impacts and health impacts in the community. So we see a lot of consequences now in Alaska with social statistics rising that we never seen before.
Can you speak a little bit more about those statistics?
People have to move out of communities, so they're moving into cities, and that means assimilating to another culture and another foreign system, and that's not easy. And so there is a rise in diabetes, there's a rise in other health issues, there's a rise in social statistics. There's so many social statistics in Alaska, and it goes all the way back to the 1970s when Prudhoe Bay oil field was discovered.
Well, I also want to speak to you about the Exxon Valdez disaster. This is one of the largest environmental disasters anywhere in the world, and it took place in Alaska. Can you speak about the impact of that spill?
The impact of that spill was 22 species were impacted. Out of those species, from what I understand, only 2 have been recovered, but millions of gallons of oil were spilled. And some statistics say it was 11 million gallons or 257,000 barrels of oil, which impacted 1,300 miles. And there was many indigenous communities that were impacted by that spill. Today, if you walk on the beaches in Prince William Sound, you lift a rock in certain areas, there's still oil. And it's still fresh, and it still smells as if it was spilled yesterday. It hasn't been cleaned up. And there's still impacts to this day. The communities that were impacted, the people tried to help clean up the spill, and they have major health impacts today that they are still dealing with.
What kind of impacts?
Upper respiratory illnesses primarily. I have a very good friend, he can't even live in Alaska in the winter because of his chest and upper respiratory illnesses that are still affecting him from the Exxon Valdez oil spill cleanup.
One of the things we know because of these investigations into Exxon in recent months is that as they were researching climate change as far back as the 1970s, they were interested in the economic possibility
My children are going to be devastated by what's happening, and we have to do something now, and that makes me angry that they knew, and they're still trying to drill in these places like the Arctic Refuge, but also they've already devastated a whole ecosystem in Alaska, and they knew what they were doing. So it makes me angry because it affects my children, their children, all of our children.
Thank you for your testimony today.
Thank you.
Your Honors, if it's all right, we'll stay with this theme of the far north for a moment, but switch to the science side of this equation. We'd like to call Jason Box.
Mr. Box, could you describe